Hey guys, today I'm going to go over how to draw Cthulhu, and I am going to just kind of start out drawing. I'm going to start from beginning to the end, and I'm going to try to say what I'm thinking as I'm going along. So, basically right now I'm going to go in with a light, very thin, wispy lines, and I'm going to try to find my placement on the page first. The reason for that is I don't want it to go off the page. When you start drawing small details right off the bat, you are going to run into a lot of trouble because you won't, without placement, you will literally start drawing and you're going to start running out of page basically. So it's good to place everything so that it's on the page first. Still doing very light lines. You can call this a land. It's not that what I call it actually, it's just the way I've been taught. That's a term I've been taught to call it a land. I'm getting a general stance. I'm drawing lines from about the head down to one of the feet and down to the other. I want to get the big general feel of the pose first. And drawn to the arms here. The wings, I don't think I'm going to have stay on the page. I think the wings are going to kind of go out. Let's see, this is waist, stomach, his kneecaps over here. He's got kind of a distinctive feet. As you know, like Cthulhu, his design is very much, his face looks kind of like an octopus, basically. I haven't decided exactly how I want his tentacles yet. I'm just putting them down loosely. When you're scribbling wispy like this, stay extremely light on your pencil. Even hold your pencil from further back, and that'd be if you have a bad habit of being very heavy-handed. Let's see what else. Getting his shoulders in here, getting his arms, where his arms bend. His pelvis area. This is all notes for myself. None of these are actually going to be in the very end of the drawing. None of these lines. This is all small notes for myself to keep myself from running out of the page, running off the page. At least on the parts that I want to. Alright, so one second. So now that I got the placement of the head, what I normally do is I would try to draw that bulbous head. He has very evil eyes. It's always good to put the eyes in first. It's the windows to the soul, and I think when you do that, it kind of gives you confidence for the rest of the drawing. When you feel you nailed down the eyes, at least to a certain extent. I feel I nailed them down decently. There could definitely be some improvement. I think I might make them a little smaller to make the rest of his body look a little bigger. Or maybe do some dark lines around him, make him look more menacing. And when you do that, it gives you an idea of the proportion of the rest of the face. In this case, his tentacles that he's going to have sticking out of his face. Alright, I got the general placement to the tentacles on his face. I'm decently happy with those, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna maybe shrink the layout of the top of his head over here. I feel like it'll just have a cooler look if top of the head is a little pointier, a little smaller. I feel like the whole, so far, even the drawing just needs to be a little edgier. And edgier, it's kind of hard to explain. Just not as sterile, not as generic as I'm drawing it right now. And I feel like I'm just drawing a little generically. So I'm going to try to throw in a few little more curves and some things here and there to kind of change that, at least an attempt to change it. Alright, I changed the angle up a little bit. I thought this would be a lot better. And right now I'm still working on the face. Something about it's still bugging me. If I get the head down, then I feel like, you know, that in itself will lead to a better rest of the drawing. Idea for the pose that I'm trying to get working here, and it just takes some fiddling with to get it to work. I want to make his bicep area a lot smaller than his forearms. I just think that has a kind of a strange look that I like sometimes. Go right into his hand. His hand, I want it to kind of have like a sprawled out hand. Maybe a bigger hand too. I mean, those guys got, you know, villains and things like that. Some big old mitts, bigger. Some spine here. I'm gonna go over to his other arm, and I'm gonna. Something really important is that his body's slightly turned away from us, this direction, kind of like here. If these are his shoulder blades and they're even, they're turned slightly. So this one arm, his arm on his right, is going to be slightly behind the rest of his body, and I have to take that into account. And I'm trying to figure out where that would end up. Look at it right now. I have a general idea of where everything's going to be placed, and that's a good thing. So I still need his wings over here. That's gonna run off the page because I kind of planned it that way to begin with. And let me see this. I won't go into full detail on the wings, but I do have a general placement of the body type, and I want his shoulders to be kind of like he's wearing shoulder pads, just like an armored shoulder pad style. Let's. I'm actually going to go into small details, which I normally shouldn't at this time, but I feel like it'll give me a better idea. Is if I put small rivets, small textures on his shoulder blades. Upper shoulders, deltoids. Just imagine it'll be made of like a harder material. So I'm going to make it that way.